think one of my favorite things about Magic the Gathering is the collectability of it. And what I have here is, these are some pieces from collections I've bought over the years. And also it kind of began when I actually owned my own LGS back in Plano, or not Plano, but the Colony, Texas. So always collect old school foils. And let's see here if I can put it on display and turn it. I'll turn the camera down here a little bit. But yeah, I've always loved these older sets and their foiling process. They're just so gorgeous. I only keep the like near mint lightly played ones. If they get any marks on them at all, I usually will just offload them. And here's some of the multicolor. This one here I just picked up recently, Last Stand. And these black ones, it's the black and the blue that are just absolutely gorgeous. And I'm just gonna keep collecting these throughout the years. I'm 47 now, so maybe by the time I'm 70, I'll have this book more than full, plus some more rare stuff. The reds are pretty nice too, but they're not as beautiful as the blue and the black. I think the blue is prettier than the other one. So this one here is kind of cool. I've actually had this since I owned my store, of Goblin Snowman. Sorry about the ring light reflection on these. Here's green. Green's pretty too, but I love old school foils. And I like them when they're not foiled too. I mean, don't get me wrong, but these just pop. This Leaf Dancer I've had since I owned my store. And back then, I mean, if I got a collection of foils or something like that, Icy Manipulator, Steam Claw I've had, we didn't really get a whole lot of foils because people just hung on to stuff, but every now and then you get a collection and have one stuck to the back. I know I bought this recently from a game store, Treetop Village, but this Remote Farm I've had since I've had a store as well. And I believe the Seafloor Debris, even though it's got a little small crease here, I did hang on to it just because it's the only one I've ever seen in person. And I think the rest of this is just some more newer stuff I've picked up, even though it's foiled. Still kind of neat to see. Not really super valuable or anything like that, but still foiled nonetheless. This one here I've had since I had the store. This is Warren Weirding. And just some more random newer foils. This is actually my Wall of Frost. Oops, there we go, Wall of Frost down here. I had 3 of them. I used to play with a wall deck that I'd made back in 2015, but I could never find a 4th one. I didn't really want to cheat and go out and just buy it, but I finally bought a collection and picked up my 4th one. I just haven't figured out what I did with my other 3, but they're around somewhere. So that one there is kind of just miscellaneous, older foils, newer stuff. But I had I'm gonna move the camera again here, sorry. I had a pretty awesome collection come in one time, and I had no idea it was gonna end up becoming my finest collection I'd ever pick up. But this gentleman had Type 1, Type 2 boxes, and I labeled them with a Sharpie Type 1, Type 2 on them. And there's just 2 moving boxes, and they're pretty amazing. He told me the story of how he left to go to the military, came back, and his mom told him, go ahead and get the boxes out of the attic or she's gonna throw them away or whatever. So he, you know, knew I had a game store, so he brought them up, thought maybe they were something. And I'm gonna show you a little bit of what they were. Now, I don't have the entire collection anymore, obviously, because I had a store, I had to sell stuff, but this is some of the remnants that was left. And this might be a 2-part video. Sol Ring, I have a pair of those somewhere. And he had all kinds of slivers. So of course, I had a customer who would come in, Andrew, and he would buy me out of all the slivers I could get because he just loved slivers. And then I ended up actually having him become a business partner at one point. And then when we closed our store, a few years later, he decided he didn't want to have these decks anymore, and he gave me first dibs on them, and I bought them because I knew where he got them, and I always love to get some of my old cards back. And then here's the Sliver Queen that he bought for $50 back in the day. So this is the original and the only Sliver Queen that ever was sold through my store, because people just didn't let go of cards like that. But that came from that one guy's collection. And you can kind of see where I'm going with this. Some of the stuff is parts and pieces I've hung on to for decks. Argothian Enchantress, Seaborn Muse, fell in love with Exploration. God, there were so many of those in that guy's collection. And I love the ability to play additional lands per turn. Vernal Equinox. Love me some Burgeoning. Eladamri's Vineyard. And this is part of my elf deck. That's why they are in green sleeves. Miri's Guile. I mean, come on, that card's sick. Worldly Tutor. Man. Predator Flagship. That with Gaia's Cradle and Malashite Talisman. Fantastic combo. Another Sol Ring. Vernal Bloom. Horn of Greed. I was going to save this card for last, but I chose not to because it's part of the elf deck, so we're going to go ahead and just spoil it now. Gaia's Cradle. That guy had 3 Gaia's Cradles. I think he had 3 Serra's Sanctums. Oh God, I can't even begin to imagine what all else he had. He had Gilded Drakes, Goblin Lackeys, Sneak Attacks. God, there was so much. There was probably $6,000 in cards back then. So in today's standards, it's probably $10,000-$12,000 worth of stuff. But these are just the pieces I was actually able to hang on to. And then he had enough goblin stuff that I was able to build myself a goblin deck. Anything with goblin art went into that deck. Brightstone Ritual. Squee. I love Sluggishness. Antagonism. And this is a deck I've been foiling out. I just have not foiled these pieces because these are original, original cards for my store. So if I were to foil out those, it would kind of replace that sentimental value. And I don't know if I want to do that or not. But this one here is a foil, and it was from that guy's collection. And he had another one too, and I sold that one. I think it was like a $50 goblin. I don't remember what it was anymore, but that's pretty cool. Goblin Sharpshooter. Goblin Festival. And this one here came from James' collection as well. Goblin Wizard. War Chief. Goblin Offensive. Siege Gang Commander. Skirk Prospector. Skirk Fire Marshal. Oops, almost dropped one. Goblin Matron. And then here is one of the ones original from that guy's collection, Goblin Lackey, and I sold all the rest. So it's kind of disheartening, but you gotta make money, So anyway, I'm gonna show you another video here shortly as a part 2 to this of other cards from that guy's original collection, and these are cards I'll never get rid of. All right, thanks.